Graphene is a unique nanoscale form of carbon that is disrupting legacy materials, bringing step-change improvements in performance across a wide range of industrial and consumer applications. From energy storage and electronics to everyday materials, graphene enables products that are better, stronger and lighter while increasing durability and improving sustainability. Graphene is leading the era of new advanced materials.
The following is a presentation that was given as part of a two-day virtual Graphene Investors Conference, hosted by the Graphene Council.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gopi Latpade. I'm based out of Las Vegas. That's where we are headquartered in. And as a company's name, Capattery is a capacitor plus battery is Capattery. And we are very interesting intersection between the material science, graphene, and the battery business to start with. And we'll be glad to kind of walk you through our journey. So what we are as a company, I mean, there's so much talk about graphene, and there's a lot of conversation. Just Terence talked about graphene has been there for long. However, I think the biggest challenge always has been the cost and the quality. And that's probably what we have kind of solved for within Capattery. So we are a material science application company, but our current pivot is in the battery segment. And the way we are doing it is by cost-effective, patent-pending graphene and graphene derivatives. So this is a very interesting slide. I think there are a lot of speakers who talked about graphene being such a super material. Really what's kind of really the hindrance for the adoption of this particular material across different application. And I think it all boils down to, again, the cost of the dollar per kg production of graphene, and then take that particular graphene as a base and put in the right application as a value-added product. So this particular report, we just got published in December. It's an AI-based marketing research agency, looked at all of the technologies out there and what is really kind of being talked about in the circle. And the biggest one is, you can see on the graph on the left side, graphene kind of is the biggest one out there. People are looking at the technology for the future. However, the cost has been the issue. Even in the battery segment, where the lithium cost is about $11 per kg, $10 to $12 per kg, and then if your graphene costs are as significant as it's seen, that's kind of a challenge. So this is exactly the kind of a challenge we took upon, and really kind of came back and said, how do we kind of reduce the cost of the graphene as a base material and kind of go from there. So this is the crux of who we are. So we have what we really have kind of, really revolutionized in terms of the lowest cost of production. We are in the range of, I think, $10 to $20 per kg. The graphene production, very, very high quality, characterized 4 to 5 layers of graphene, which is very sufficiently used for any application. And the reason we are able to really accomplish that is we take a graphite, natural flakes, and we put through in our process, which is about a 90% yield through the cycling process. And that kind of gives us the product which we need, very scalable product. We are about 3 metric tons per year kind of production right now. And we will be kind of going into the more than 100 tons per year type of capacity very, very soon. So I think once we kind of solve for from the graphene production perspective, now the universe is kind of pretty big from there. We can go into multiple applications, whether we need to, with that cost being, much, much more amicable. But what we decided as a company that we would pivot ourselves right now into the battery segment. Very interestingly, there's a lot of conversation around that particular battery part, but I think the cost of the graphene was always the hindrance. And I think once we solve for that, I think we we have a pretty big market which has already been out there, and that's exactly what we are targeting to get into. So as a business model, we have a battery application and other applications like graphene derivatives, and then it can go into the construction and solar coating. These are the two next application we'll be looking at some time. They all will be branded as a Graphinity. We will be selling those in a different under different brand. We will make an investment in-house for that, a little bit less CapEx on that. Small market, but very high margins. However, the battery business, very, very big market and low to medium level of margins. And we will be working with our partners who can put in the investment for setting up the battery units and all that, and we provide them the technology and operational capability. We can take graphene in any of the chemistries which we currently have, like LFP and MCs and all that, and we can actually put up a graphene into that and enhance the capability of that. That's what we will see very quickly. So our graphene products, Graphinity as the brand under which we'll be selling those. And for the battery product, that's kind of the battery. This is something very interesting which we want to talk about, where we have taken graphene into those batteries and all of that. So next slide, please. So we all know that, current LFP market, NMCs and all the batteries out there, biggest challenge in the adoption has been the charging time, range anxieties, and very importantly, the safety part of it, and the life cycle. These are the areas which we know, because the graphene being that material, we have been able to come up with our cells, which are at the 3C ratings, basically imagine charging your car in less than 20 minutes. We have an extended life of the cycle, life cycle about 2x to 3x from the current LFP market. Very, very safe. Of course, graphene, that's where the magic of graphene is. Can go into the higher mileage. And yet, because we are able to produce the graphene at a much more competitive pricing, therefore, we can actually be in this market and be one of the strong force in the LFPs and all of this market. So what we are saying is $1 per kilowatt hour per 1,000 cycles is much lower than LFPs and NMC batteries out there. And so this is very important. I think we took this graphene. We're producing our cell chemistry is where anode is fully graphene, cathode is LFP with graphene coating, and the pretty standard LFP chemistry otherwise. But because the graphene has been used and we get a very high surface area, we are able to really come up with a very high C ratings. And we know that the graph which is on the top left there is basically we tested ourselves for more than 1,000 cycles, 3C charge, discharge, with no break in between, no cooling required, no nothing. And we are able to kind of do 1,000 cycle. I mean, if you take an LFP, you can't even take even a 1C cycle with LFP current batteries and can't go more than 20 cycles continuously. It would kind of, the cell will heat up so much that it will break. But we were able to take this to the 3C levels and to the level where we could test it more than 1,000 cycles, and still our impedance has been, or the impedance or resistance has been pretty normal. It has not decreased or increased whatsoever. So that's the kind of a power of graphene we are able to kind of take it out. We also tested for thermal runaway, even at a temperature of 360 and all, with no thermal runaways, no fires whatsoever. This the only thing happened that your electrolyte kind of evaporates at a specific temperature of 120 or something. And after that, we could just, our battery still remains there. So that's kind of the power, the power which we are able to kind of put in the cells. So we did some performance benchmark with LTO, LFPs, and NMCs and all that, and under all kinds of parameters, specific energy, power, performance, span, lifespan, safety cost. And what we realized that with graphene putting in there, and then the reason we could do that, again, coming back to the lowest cost of production on the graphene side, that really helps to really enhance any chemistry. We can actually go to any LFP assembly today, use the graphene anodes properly and can enhance the overall capability of that particular thing. And by doing that, as I said, our cell pricing is dollars per hour per 1,000 cycle is much lower than even current LFP. And that's where the unique proposition in the battery segment has been. So here we are. We in fact, as of yesterday, we sent out our first invoice. We are revenue generating now. We can very well call that. We are doing commercial pilots with multiple companies especially in the segment within batteries. Also, we are going to look at is the energy storage, and the very simple reason being we needed this to be because of the high performance and very, very importantly, the safety part of it. Next slide. A lot of innovation. We have our own R&D facility right now in India, but very soon we'll be moving some portion of that to US in Vegas. Very, very strong team. My co-founder, in fact, I was first investor in the company and then became a co-founder within the company. Sushant, very acclaimed 6-time presidential award winner as a young innovator. That's where I got really excited in this company to take a part of this particular journey. We have a very good scientific team who really knows how to create a very good material at a very, very low cost and supported by a good advisory team. Next slide. Of course, pretty big market. On the cell side, we have a huge market, ready-made market, especially in the energy storage. We are right now doing a lot of off-grid and on-grid storage solutions. We've got some commercial orders, LOIs in place. Big market, of course, for the graphene, smaller market, but high margin. So we will kind of work on both sides in order to de-risk the business model. So what we are doing right now, so far, we have already got everything self-funded so far with our current capacity of graphene and cells. We are right now raising money for our 100 megawatt hour cell and about 180 tons of graphene manufacturing at this moment. The phase 1 and phase 2 is going to be 1 gigawatt hour capacity. Of course, we will be partnering with the third party for the CapEx part of it, especially from the cell side. Graphene, something we will do it ourselves. Some of the competition in our thing, if you look at Lighten, Nanotech, some of the very prominent names in the graphene segment, plus the cell part of it they talk about. They raised, a ton of money. Good job. However, what we have done so far, we've come to the commercial stage with hardly any money being spent, mostly self-funded through me and a couple of other friends and family. So we kind of got everything self-funded so far, and now we are in the commercial stage. So
Gopi,
right now.
Sorry, Gopi, we're going to be close to wrap up.
Yeah, this is the last slide.
Okay.
So we are raising about $20 million this whole year, but it will be split into 2 tranches. The current tranche is what, $3 million, which we're as a convertible note. We're raising with a 25% discount or valuation cap of $30 million, whichever is lower in the next round with 6% interest. That's what we're raising in the current tranche right now. And very soon we will be raising for 180 tons of graphene and cell manufacturing, about $15 to $20 million. That's what we'll be raising, and will take us to the total revenue of about $15 million next year with this particular ramp up. That's pretty much it. I think what we have been able to do with our cell, our graphene manufacturing with a very, very high yield is where we are taking the graphene to the next level. Thank you. And over to you, Travis.
Thank you, Gopi. Thank you so much.
For more information on market opportunities and to connect with experts, contact the Graphene Council at thegrathenecouncil.org.